for Mr. Subramanian Swamy. Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi. और इस सेशन को मॉडरेट करने के लिए बुलाना चाहते हैं श्री साई दीपक को, who's an engineer turned law firm partner turned.
Fortunately, given the dignitaries present on the dais, I don't think they need any introductions at all. In fact, it would be insulting to them to actually introduce them to the audience, given their track records which speak for themselves. Are India's constitutional values really under threat? Perhaps the operative word being really. Give 5 minutes to each of the speakers to give their opening remarks, followed by a couple of questions from me based on their opening remarks. And after that, I will intersperse my questions with the questions that I get from the audience.
Well, the issue that is posed is about constitutional values under threat now. That means that it wasn't under threat before. Would you say the state of the emergency that was declared, was that a threat or not? And the fact that in 1951, against the advice of Dr. Ambedkar and everybody else, Jawaharlal Nehru brought in an amendment which is called the First Amendment of the Constitution, where he said that liberty, freedom of speech, all will have to be subject to certain conditions. And a new article was inserted into the Constitution called 19(2), which now outlaws speaking about seditious matters. It outlaws protesting, which is of breaking laws. It's a whole lot of restriction which was not there in the original Constitution adopted on the 26th of January 1950. So the threat to the Constitution has been going on for a long time, but we also have noticed that people have struggled, fought against it. For instance, the emergency was had to be withdrawn, and the people showed what democracy means to them, because the most educated sections of India, that is South India, the 4 states of South India, voted for Mrs. Gandhi in the election, and the most uneducated part of India, which is North India, voted against Mrs. Gandhi and defeated her. So most Indians have not read the Constitution. The Constitution has many things which I'm sure Mr. Owaisi will never agree is a constitutional value. For instance, Article 48 says there shall be a ban on cow slaughter. I'm not sure he will agree on that. Constitution, Article 44 says there shall be uniform civil code. I don't know whether he'll agree to that. Article 351 of the Constitution says that Hindi, which will be the link language, shall have largely Sanskrit words and secondarily words from other languages. I don't think that many people in our sophisticated world would agree to that. So the real problem today is, what do you mean by constitutional values? Can you sit in dharna with children when the Juvenile Justice Act says that taking children to illegal demonstrations is a crime punishable by 7 years? I have not seen anybody being punished yet on this Shahadeen or whatever place demonstrations have taken place. Our liberty has gone much beyond the Constitution, and it is under no threat whatsoever. Thank you.
In the present political setup, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is from 1 to 100. He is the only person, which contradicts that the Prime Minister is one amongst the equal. A president rule was imposed in J&K, and through backdoor, a state was divided and converted into union territory. So this is the second example where there's a threat to the constitutional values. When it comes to justice, the Honorable Supreme Court, in a recent judgment, they say that the reservation is not a right, which the BJP agreed. In fact, the Constitution talks about justice in the preamble, to bring equality among the people who have been discriminated. This is the third example where you have a school headmistress and a parent of a daughter who were charged under sedition and put in prison because the daughter of that woman, who's a widow, had said something against the Prime Minister. So the mother was punished and the headmistress was punished, and they were lodged in jail for a period of 2 weeks. That is a threat to liberty. Here you have a Prime Minister who has weakened legislature, who has weakened judiciary, and now what we hear is that the Prime Minister is a genius. I don't agree with that statement. In fact, I can say Mr. Swamy is a genius, but he took wrong decisions, wrong political decisions throughout his life. That is his systematic wrong-making decision. Constitutional values are fundamental rights. They are not directive principles. And to counter the point of Mr. Swamy, as far as protection of cow is concerned, Constitution doesn't talk about the Hindu values. When it comes to protection of cow, the Constitution talks about economy, how it should be protected. Thank you.
So, I've been made a specific request that as much as possible, if we could speak in both English and Hindi for the benefit of the audience, that would help. Sure, great, okay. So I'll start with my first question. I'm so sorry.
No, this is the culture of India that all three South Indians are sitting and you're asked to speak in Hindi. Good.
Just a small correction, sir. I'm an Indian from the South, not a South Indian.
Indian first, okay. Good.
I'll start with my first question to Dr. Swamy. Since the topic of the debate happens to be constitutional values, I remember you making a statement, and in fact, perhaps you've even written on it, that the Constitution, at the heart of it, is a dharmic document, and it sees India as a Hindu Rashtra. And I suppose that this entire statement or conclusion comes from your experience with handling constitutional law and having read it. For the sake of the audience, could you please enlighten us as to what is the basis of the statement?
Whatever Mr. Owaisi said, while I don't disagree with it, but I will say this has been happening all through the last 70 years, but he is only bothered about the last 5 years. That is the problem. The threat to the Constitution will always be there because we are a country which has come through out of imperialism and foreign invasions, and therefore this process of becoming your mindset to being prepared for abiding by the Constitution is going to take time, and that means through struggle. So therefore, this word, if you were to ask me, this debate was badly framed because you used the word now. When I spoke about this question of this being already a Hindu Rashtra's constitution, I don't need a new constitution, because people were saying there should be a new Hindu Rashtra constitution. I said, why? It's already there. All that the Hindu Rashtra would require is already there. First of all, in the preamble, they have said faith is a fundamental right. So in this Ram Janmabhoomi, we won the case because my petition, which came in and said that my faith is that Ram was born here, and that I have a fundamental right to pray there. Whereas a mosque is a place to read namaz, and namaz can be read anywhere, including in my drawing room, even on this place. So this distinction showed that we were able to use the word faith for a religious purpose, which is dear to us. Second, Uniform Civil Code has to be enforced by the government. That's what the Constitution says. Protection of cow is here. It's not on agriculture. It's a ban on cow slaughter. I'll read it out because Owaisi is a highly educated lawyer. So lawyers never tell the truth. So 48. To preserving, improving the breeds and prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves. So prohibiting the slaughter of cows. They haven't said buffaloes, they haven't said pigs, they haven't said any of the other things. So that similarly, I pointed out to you about Article 351 Sanskrit. This is another Hindu Rashtra demand. And throughout, I will show every place wherever there is a Hindu Rashtra demand. Hindus can never want that all should follow Hinduism. All religions lead to God, so we have no difficulty. If there are Jews here, there are Parsis here, there are Christians here, there are Muslims here, and they want to worship, we will allow it. If they want to build a masjid, of course, they have a right to build it. There are Muslim countries where I can't build a temple, but this country you can build as many mosques you want. So that is the issue.
From what I understand, and please correct me if I've got the history wrong, AIMIM is the successor organization to the MIM, which it was not? I see. So it was started by Mr. Qasim Rizvi, who fled to Pakistan in 1957.
You got your history and facts wrong.
I thought he was for the support of the creation of a South Pakistan, which is the Hyderabad princely state. Let me just finish my question. Let me just finish my question. You can correct me. I'll allow you to correct me. So my question is, as a party which assume for a moment it's a misplaced conception or it's a misplaced assumption, which sees itself as the legal successor of MIM.
No, we don't.
I'd like to understand.
No, your question is
how
wrong.
have you managed to chart your journey from an entity which was for the creation of Pakistan to an entity which supports the Constitution of India? Just explain that to us.
You're factually wrong.
Okay, please go ahead, explain.
So, I don't know which history books you have read, but I can give you some good history books to correct your understanding of history. This is a political party which has no relation whatsoever with the earlier MIM. This is AIMIM. People who were called Razakars, they went to Pakistan. We have no connection whatsoever with the Razakars or with that MIM which is called. This was a party which was established and registered in the Election Commission of India. We started our political journey in 1958 onwards. And when you register a political party, you have to subscribe and accept to India's constitution. And that is how this political journey has started from 1958 onwards.
So since you mentioned that under this particular government, there has been a lot of, let's say, sabotage as far as the constitution is concerned, I remember that Shri Salahuddin Owaisi, your father, was a contemporary of Indira Gandhi. So I'm trying to understand what was the position taken by your party as an organization towards the policies of Miss or Mrs. Indira Gandhi during her regime, especially during emergency and subsequently.
Well, you see, these are journeys wherein sometimes you are in weather of winter or autumn. So, politicians have to travel to various weathers. We supported Mrs. Gandhi, we opposed her, and this has been the reality. And that is why even Mrs. Gandhi came to our party office for the Secunderabad by-election Mr. Shiv Shankar was contesting. So she came to our office and we supported her at that time. Then we opposed her as well. Yes. To respond to Dr. Swamy's point, for me the Constitution is not a religious book. Constitution is a legal text which says that India has no religion. India has no religion. India celebrates all the religions. In fact, India even celebrates people who don't believe in God. Swamy read from the Constitution. He is reading some directive principles. What is the word he used? The state shall endeavor. Now, as a legal student, I am not a legal luminary, Mr. Swamy. He is a rightful successor of Lord Denning. I can say that. So, the word shall and word may means is mandatory. The word shall is not mandatory.
It's the other way around.
Okay. No,
it's the other way around.
Let me
plain English tells me it's the other way around.
Let me come. See, when it comes to cow slaughter, it is under directive principle of Organization of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. Organization of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. So where is the question of acceding to the Hindu religion over here? This present government, how much allocation has been made for protection of cow?
Shall I speak in Hindi now? Or?
Sure. Absolutely.
No compulsion. अंग्रेजी हो गया है तो बाकी सब हिंदी में अब. इसमें लिखा है जहाँ तक गौ हत्या पर प्रतिबंध के सवाल पर, and prohibiting the slaughter of, not strive to prohibit or prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves and drought cattle. So let me finish.
No, you complete, sir.
Second, you say this is not a religious document, but it's a secular document. Constitution says that all religions are equal. As a Muslim, do you agree that Hinduism can lead to God as much and as efficiently as Islam?
I agree. I started my initial remarks by saying that India has no religion. You are entitled to your religious belief. I am entitled to my religious belief. And no one can interfere in your practice of your religion, neither in my practice of religion.
But that doesn't answer his question.
No, I am answering his question.
Please.
That is his belief. I agree to his belief. My belief is different. He has to agree to my belief.
Yes.
That is what I'm telling you. This is the beauty of our constitution, that you cannot superimpose my views or my views on him.
No, I think the question is whether one belief undermines or comes in the way of the other.
No,
so let's not
not at all. Not at all.
Yes.
Not at all. Everyone is entitled to their beliefs. Okay. Please go ahead with your beliefs. Do not superimpose and make this country a Hindu Rashtra. Do not make this country a country of one religion or one culture or one language.
Fantastic. Change, for the flavor of change, let's just move away from certain bovine topics, right?
No, I didn't start it.
I understand. So let me just ask you. So since you seem to have a fundamental problem with the concept and idea of a Hindu Rashtra, and I'm assuming that you have a problem with it after understanding what it is about, could you please explain for my understanding and for the audience's understanding as to what do you understand by the word Rashtra? How is it the same as Rajya, or is Rashtra is it different from Rajya, or is it the same as Rajya? Could you please explain that for us?
The word nation has been used in the preamble.
So I'm talking about Hindu Rashtra.
No, I'm happy with that.
Right.
Now,
You're happy with
when,
that? Okay.
When you talk about Hindu Rashtra, then you go to the Savarkar's ideology, what he wrote, that Muslims and Christians do not believe because India is not a holy land or their Putra Bhumi or Matru Bhumi, right? Yeah, exactly, that is there. When you talk about Hindu Rashtra, then you go back to what Golwalkar said in 1930s. He said that if Muslims have to live in India, they should be denied citizenship right. The Hindu Rashtra, when you ask what Hindu Rashtra is, that it took RSS, after it was banned, to accept in writing that they will accept even the national flag. When the national flag came out, there is an article signed by RSS people in organizer that they say we do not believe in these three colors because it is inauspicious.
It still doesn't answer my question as to
I'm
what is the meaning
explaining
of
to
Rashtra
you.
according to
I
you.
am explaining, sir.
What is Rashtra according to you?
That is what is Rashtra.
Oh,
to change India's diversity, to change India's pluralism, and to make it a nation of one religion, wherein one religion has domination, to change the basic structure of the constitution. That's it.
May I?
Please.
When it comes to interpretation of non-Hindu religions in India under law or in any of the Islamic seminaries, which book which traces its origins to India is relied upon for interpretation of either Islamic law or Christian canon law? I'm trying to ask myself this simple question since you're saying...
No, please explain to me.
आपके लिए और थोड़ा मैं simple कर देता हूँ.
कर दीजिए.
जब आप फतवा जारी करते हैं, and I'm using the word fatwa as a legal finding, a judicial finding, not in the negative sense. So the question is, भारत के कौन से book में से आप अपने, let's say, interpretation को ढूंढते हैं? My point is, everything that relates to Islam necessarily comes from a book and commentaries which do not originate in India. Would that be a correct statement to make?
You're absolutely wrong.
Oh, please
you don't know.
Sahih al-Bukhari was authored in India.
Do you know Fatwa Alamgiri?
Go ahead,
Fatwa
please.
Alamgiri?
Oh, so you use Fatwa Alamgiri to actually...
Listen to me. Where was Fatwa Alamgiri written?
No. The question is, when you issue a fatwa, do you use the Quran or what are you using?
Are you debating with me or an anchor?
I am
you
asking
want to
you
debate with me? I'll answer.
I am asking you a straightforward question.
I am answering you in a straightforward way. Please listen to me. You have.
Should I rephrase the question for you to understand it better?
I understood where you're coming from.
Answer, please.
Do you believe that the Islamic law is only Quran and Sunnah? No. You're absolutely wrong.
Go ahead, please explain.
No, it is not.
Right.
It is Quran, it is Sunnah,
right.
It is the judicial or the fatwas given.
Hadith.
It is Sunnah is Hadith only.
Hadith only.
Then you have schools of thought.
Right.
Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Fiqh.
Right.
Then you have Fatwa Alamgiri. There are so many books.
So these schools of thought, what is the basis of the schools of thought? Is the
every religion, every school of thought.
Right.
Basically,
Has the audience understood the question? Okay, great.
No, listen.
Yes, please.
Fantastic.
Right.
Majority of Indian Muslims are Hanafis.
Okay.
We follow Fatwa Alamgiri.
Okay.
And that protection, where it comes from? Article 26.
Okay.
Isn't it?
And what is the basis of Fatwa Alamgiri?
Fatwa Alamgiri is the opinion of the Islamic scholars who were born in India.
Based on what?
Based on Quran and Sunnah.
Thank you.
And also advice.
Thank you.
Listen, no. If you don't find an answer in Quran and Sunnah, then that is what the scholars give their opinion.
Right.
Islam does not believe that all religions lead to God, neither does Christianity.
Is that a political statement or a theological statement?
It is based on theology because he may be a Muslim.
You can respond.
I mean, he is a Muslim, I have no doubt about that.
Right.
But in Saudi Arabia, you can't even celebrate Diwali. You cannot keep a picture of Ramchandraji in your pocket. You cannot have Satyanarayan Puja inside your house. If you bring any idol from India and they detect you in the customs area, they'll put you in jail for 5 days. So there is a clear, and I have spoken to Saudi Arabians, they say this is our religion.
But what
we
do you
will
make
not
of the
allow.
other countries in the Middle East which are slowly encouraging the opening of temples?
Only
what do you make of
one
that?
religion, one state, and that is Dubai, and that is UAE, and that too for Swaminarayan.
Right.
They have not agreed to a Shiva temple.
So are they not Islamic republics?
No, I am only asking him
Right.
that would he say that Hinduism leads to God just as much as Islam leads to God, he will not be able to say that, because the theology will prevent him from that.
I'll let you respond
And
to that,
if
sir.
he says it, then you'll have to give him Z security protection.
So one question for you, sir.
Yes.
So Mr. Owaisi believes that the repealment and amendment of Article 370, it's not an abrogation entirely, it's an amendment of Article 370, is effectively an act of subversion of the Constitution. So I'm asking myself this question as a layperson for a moment, keeping my legal experience aside. What was India expected to do to put an end to the problem with respect to Article 370? If status quo was not a solution, what is it that India could have done? Is there an option other than what the government has done?
पहला है कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली. कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली ने पूरा संविधान का जो काम था वो 26 नवंबर 1949 तक पूरा कर दिया था. 16 नवंबर को एक नया अमेंडमेंट लाया गया कि आर्टिकल 370 इसमें जोड़ा जाए. अंबेडकर ने कहा मैं गद्दार नहीं हूँ, इसीलिए मैं नहीं मूव करूँगा, यद्यपि वो चेयरमैन थे. तो संविधान में एक ही आर्टिकल है जिसमें लिखा है कि राष्ट्रपति की विज्ञप्ति से इसको रद्द किया जा सकता है. और हेडलाइन में लिखा है टेम्पररी प्रोविजन टू द स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू कश्मीर. जम्मू कश्मीर में भी एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली थी जिसने एक जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया. उसमें इन्होंने लिखा है कि जम्मू एंड कश्मीर इज़ एन इंटेग्रल पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया. 370 का कोई लिंक है, ये सब कुछ कहीं भी लिखा नहीं है. तो हमने पार्लियामेंट में बिल को लाए और ये यानी अप्रूवल बिल लाए. माने बिल तो ज़रूरत नहीं थी क्योंकि राष्ट्रपति ने विज्ञप्ति जारी कर दिया, बट उसको अप्रूव करने के लिए कि नोटिफिकेशन, वो ऐसा हम ला करके किया. सारे जो भी कुछ हमने किया, हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के हिसाब से किया.
370 के ऊपर कश्मीर का एक स्पेशल स्टेटस है. असेंबली डिसॉल्व करके आपने सब डिसीजन ले लिए, असेंबली की राय तक भी आपने नहीं ली वहाँ पर. अब रहा सवाल 370 का. आप ये बताइए कि वहाँ पर आप ये क्यों लॉ बनाने जा रहे हैं कि बाहर का आदमी ज़मीन नहीं खरीद सकता वहाँ पर?
राइट.
क्यों बना रहे हैं आप?
गुड पॉइंट.
जबकि आर्टिकल 370 में तो इट बिकेम एन एम्प्टी शेल.
Completely agree with you कि 370 हटाने के बाद ये डोमिसाइल स्टेटस लाने का मतलब क्या है? I understand your point. My question is, अगर संविधान के इतने सारे अनुच्छेद ऑलरेडी लागू हो चुके हैं तो 370 होने से या ना होने से क्या फर्क पड़ता है? अगर आप, क्योंकि भारत में चाहे कोई भी धर्म या मजहब का हो, वो प्रधानमंत्री बन सकता है, एंड दैट इज द ग्रेटनेस ऑफ दिस कंट्री थैंक्स टू इट्स सिविलाइजेशन. अगर आप प्रधानमंत्री बनते या आप बन जाते हैं फ्यूचर में, और मान लीजिए कि आपके टाइम तक 370 था, और ये मान लेते हैं कि भाजपा सरकार ने जो किया है वो पूरी तरह से गलत है, गैर संवैधानिक है, ये एक मिनट के मान लेते हैं, तो आपके हिसाब से 370 का जो मसला है आप उसको कैसे सुलझाते हैं? ये थोड़ा हमारे लिए समझा दीजिए. या फिर उसमें कोई मसला नहीं है आपके हिसाब से?
सबसे पहले तो मैं महबूबा मुफ्ती से अलायंस नहीं करता.
इसमें तो हम सहमत हैं आपसे.
He agrees with you.
आप मेरे को एक पॉलिटिशियन के तौर पर बुलाए हैं,
जी.
मैं जवाब दे रहा
वकील भी तो
हूँ.
हैं.
मैं वकील नहीं हूँ, वकील आप हैं, प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं आप बहस कर. बातचीत होती सबसे, एक माहौल पैदा किया जाता. आप कुछ माहौल नहीं करे, कुछ बातचीत नहीं करे. आप ही के दौर में इतने टेररिस्ट अटैक्स हुए, इतने हमले हुए बीजेपी के दौर में, और इंटरनेट बैन माशाल्लाह यानी रिकॉर्ड बन गया. अभी तो इलेक्शंस नहीं करा सकते आप, इलेक्शंस पोस्टपोन हो रहे.
70 साल के बातचीत के बाद क्या हल निकला सर?
70 साल की बातचीत में पहली गलती जो हम लोग किए वो शेख साहब की गिरफ्तारी थी.
अच्छा, ओके.
ये दूसरी गलती हम लोग किए.
अच्छा.
उसमें बीच में 1986-87 में एक फ्रॉडुलेंट इलेक्शन हुआ जिसका खैमियाजा वहां पर भुगतना पड़ा. कश्मीरी लोग बड़े चालाक होते हैं, बहुत चालाक होते हैं. वो कभी भी रिएक्ट नहीं करेंगे जो आप चाहते. आप देख लो, उनकी हिस्ट्री है पूरी.
मद्रासी ब्राह्मण भी उनसे ज़्यादा चालाक है. इसमें ये चालाकी का सवाल नहीं है
सर.
देखिए, पहले आप दोनों को मिक्स मत करिए. पहले तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोजीशन मैं पढ़ देता हूँ, उसमें कहीं नहीं असेंबली का जिक्र है. The Constituent Assembly of the state referred to in Clause 2 shall be necessary before the President issues such a notification. Now, Constituent Assembly completed its deliberation and presented a constitution in that there is no reference to Article 370. There is only one in the preamble which says that Jammu Kashmir is an integral part of India, and there is no question of consulting the Assembly.
स्वामी साहब, जम्मू कश्मीर यकीनन हिंदुस्तान का अटूट हिस्सा है और रहेगा। वहां पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली की जो बात आई है, आप उसको प्रेसिडेंट को इख्तियार नहीं है, मेरा मानना यह है, प्रेसिडेंट को इख्तियार नहीं है असेंबली को डिसॉल्व करके आप स्टेट को डिवाइड करके यूनियन टेरिटरी नहीं बना सकते। मेरा स्टैंड है, अब ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाएगा।
आपका स्टैंड है या वकील के तौर पे आपका स्टैंड
नहीं
है?
ये मेरा स्टैंड इसलिए है क्योंकि मैंने लीगल जो लुमिनरीज है उनसे जो पढ़ा है, उनके आर्टिकल्स पढ़े हैं और उनको सुना है और उनसे उनकी बुनियाद पर कह रहा हूं मैं आपको।
तो आप हरीश साल्वे साहब को लीगल लुमिनरी मानते हैं?
हरीश साल्वे से बेहतर मैं समझता हूं फैजान मुस्तफा को, हरीश साल्वे से बेहतर मैं समझता हूं आपके ऐसे कई लॉयर्स हैं। अब हरीश साल्वे साहब ओपिनियन लिख के दिए थे 370 का, तो जाहिर है आप
वकील हैं, आपने उनसे पूछा?
नहीं, वकील नहीं है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एक्सपर्ट नहीं है वो।
ओके,
तो आप कहते हैं कश्मीरी बहुत चालाक हैं और वो लड़ेंगे ऐन वक्त पर। मैं कहता हूं कि जब 5 लाख कश्मीरी पंडितों को भगाया और उनके नरसिंगार किया, तो तब वहाँ कश्मीरी लोग क्या कर रहे थे?
स्वामी साहब, वो मैं तो गुजारिश करूंगा कि एक एक कश्मीरी पंडित को लेकर जाकर कश्मीर में सेटल कराने की जिम्मेदारी आपकी सरकार की है।
अच्छा,
आपने कितने कश्मीरी पंडित को लेकर गए ये बताइए। और मैं मानता हूं कि कश्मीर का जो सिंक्रेटिक कल्चर है उसमें पंडित वहां पर जाना चाहिए और उम्मीद करते हैं कि वापस जाएंगे, लेकर जाइए जरूर।
सर, जस्ट आउट ऑफ क्यूरियोसिटी, एज अ पार्टी आपने कश्मीरी पंडितों के सिलसिले में कोई रेजोल्यूशन अपने पार्टी के अंदर पास किया है?
मैं आपको रिसर्च फिर से नहीं कर रही, पार्लियामेंट में स्पीच है मेरी।
जी जी, बोलिए प्लीज।
उसमें मैंने ये मुतालबा किया कश्मीरी पंडित को लेकर जाइए वापस आप।
अच्छा।
पार्लियामेंट की स्पीच में आप देख लो, चेक कर लो।
फेयर इनफ।
कश्मीरी बहुत समझदार हैं, वो एन वक्त पर एक्ट करेंगे, तो वो कश्मीरी क्यों नहीं बोलते हैं कि कश्मीरी पंडित वापस आ जाए?
नहीं, बहुत से कश्मीरी बोले हैं सर, बहुत। खुद महबूबा मुफ्ती बोली आपके मोदी के साथ खड़े रखे।
वो महबूबा मुफ्ती का गूगली बोलते डालते रहती है, इसीलिए तो मैंने कहा कि इसके साथ सरकार नहीं बनाना चाहिए।
नहीं सर, अब कौन किसको गूगली डाले वो तो नहीं मालूम।
On the CA, so since you represent a significant portion of Hyderabad, which has a significant Muslim population, which Hyderabadi Muslim, according to you, is going to be affected by the CA, and why? Legally.
Any law which is passed, which is unconstitutional, which goes against the basic structure of the Constitution, it will affect every Indian, irrespective of Hyderabadi Hindu, Hyderabadi Muslim, or Hyderabadi Christian.
Right.
That is the first answer.
Right.
Secondly, why do we oppose CAA? Because in the 70 years of our Indian Lok Sabha, not a single law has been made on the basis of religion. This has been done. In my opinion, and in the opinion of many legal luminaries, which you will again ask which name, is that it violates right to equality. Fourthly, this country cannot have two principles of citizenship. Fifth, about CAA, it is discriminatory and it violates Article 14 of equality because in Assam NRC has been done. 19 lakh people, names did not come in the Assam NRC. Out of that, only 5 lakh were Muslims. The BJP intends to give citizenship to all those non-Muslims and not to the Muslims. Why? Again, all of them are illegal migrants because they didn't come. Isn't that a violation of Article 14? So
I'm assuming that you're equally for Ahmadiyya Muslims from Pakistan for their entry into India. Is that the position?
I am saying you removed the word religious minorities and bring everyone. So, who's stopping you?
So here's my question. The treatment that Razakars under the Nizam meted out to Hindus in Hyderabadi Princely State is the same treatment that Hindus
you are jumping. No, listen to me.
I have told you. You're debater from a moderator.
I'm just asking you a moderator.
I'm asking you a question.
You are trying to become another Subramanian Swamy, which will never happen in his life.
I agree that there can never be another Dr. Swamy, and I don't aspire to be him as well. Let me just ask this question. आप सवाल से इतना क्यों डर रहे हैं? मुझे सवाल तो पूछने दीजिए।
सर,
तो मुझे पूछने दीजिए ना।
मैं इस प्रोग्राम में इसलिए आया हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को मालूम है पूरे RSS के लोग बैठे हुए इसलिए आया हूँ मैं।
Appreciate your guts. Absolutely. मेरा सवाल ये है कि जो ट्रीटमेंट रजाकर्स ने हैदराबादी हिंदुओं के साथ किया था, पाकिस्तान में हिंदुओं के साथ वही हो रहा है। Therefore, there is a specific persecution which is based on religion. जब प्रॉब्लम का बेसिस ही रिलीजन है, तो सॉल्यूशन का बेसिस रिलीजन क्यों नहीं हो सकता? ये थोड़ा समझा दीजिए।
इसलिए नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि भारत का कोई रिलीजन नहीं है।
अच्छा, उनका तो रिलीजन है।
भारत का नहीं है
जो
religion।
मर रहे हैं उनका तो रिलीजन है।
भारत का रिलीजन नहीं है। आप मेरे को मालूम, आपको पाकिस्तान की बड़ी मोहब्बत है, मेरे को नहीं है पाकिस्तान से। सुनिए, आपको पाकिस्तान से बड़ी मोहब्बत है, अफगानिस्तान से है, आपको बांग्लादेश से, मुझे नहीं है सर। मुझे भारत से मतलब है और हमेशा रहेगा। रहा सवाल परसिक्यूशन का, आप परसिक्यूशन के ऊपर लेके आइए ना, कौन रोक रहा आपको? कौन रोक रहा आपको?
तो let's ask ourselves this question. Recognize persecution but ignore the cause of the persecution is the solution.
Persecution is persecution. Now
explain that to me.
Listen to me.
Please.
अगर कोई हिंदू पाकिस्तान से आकर भारत में रिफ्यूजी बनता है तो मुझे उसका गम नहीं है।
रिफ्यूजी तभी बन सकता है जब वो परसिक्यूटेड है
सर।
और मैं वकील के तौर पे एक पॉइंट बोलने
अच्छा, पाकिस्तान से कोई हिंदू आता है, अफगानिस्तान से आता है, बांग्लादेश से आता है, कहीं से भी आता है, दीजिए। आप रिलीजन के ऊपर कानून क्यों बनाए? आप एक्सक्लूड क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये राइट टू इक्वालिटी के खिलाफ है।
कोई अंतर करता है तो कानून अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है। एक मार रहा है और दूसरा मर रहा है, आपके हिसाब से कानून दोनों के बीच में अंतर नहीं कर सकता है। थैंक यू, आई अंडरस्टैंड, दैट्स योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड आई अंडरस्टैंड you're no more a lawyer, so I'm with you. Okay.
He mentioned Article 14.
Right.
Said is equality before the law. There are a number of Supreme Court judgments which interpret Article 14. Today there is reservation for scheduled castes in jobs, in education. But there are no reservations for Brahmins. So can I say equality before the law? I should also get reservation if scheduled caste gets reservations. Article 14 would apply only when invidious discrimination is meted out to equals. Now, in this particular case, these people who have come from Pakistan, and they were originally, there was a statement of Mahatma Gandhi in the prayer meeting that he would like to see the partition undone, and that he plans to go in February, that is a few days before his after his assassination, so he could not go. Therefore, he said, those who are there can stay there. But after that, Gandhiji was assassinated. Then Jawaharlal Nehru had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan called Liaquat Ali Khan, and both resolved that the minorities of both countries will not leave because they'll be safe, they'll be protected. But Liaquat Ali Khan was assassinated. And after that, the persecution started. And when these religions, this is not only Hindu religions, Hindu, Sikhs, Buddhists, Christians and Parsis, 5 religions are there. The persecution started. They were 30% of Pakistan's population, and slowly over a period of time, they have now come down to 3%. And therefore, these persecuted people who have been coming from 1947 onwards have been living in camps because they have been treated as stateless. They have been treated as illegal immigrants. They can't get an Aadhaar card. They can't get a passport. So they have to get a dole from the government and live in tents. Manmohan Singh, as leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha, said, please, Mr. Advani, please have some kindness for these people and give them citizenship. And therefore, that is what all we did. No Muslim came from Pakistan saying that he's being religiously persecuted. Other Muslims who came, we offered them citizenship on the individual basis, like Tariq Fateh. He said no, he'll take a Canadian citizenship. Taslima, she took a Swedish citizenship. But the Adnan Sami, he took Indian citizenship, and everybody is criticizing us for giving him citizenship. Right. So therefore, please don't connect this with equality. Article 14 does not apply here at all. It is no question of being unequals being treated.